Montessori sensitive period for order occurs roughly between 6 months and 3.5 years old. And today we'll be talking a little bit about what it is, some activities you can do, and tips for navigating it. This video is part of a larger series all about Montessori sensitive periods. Check out the rest of those videos, as well as a larger series all about how we realistically Montessori at home. If you're new here, my name's Rachel. Welcome. I'm the mom of a 2.5-year-old. I also have another baby on the way. By the time you guys are watching this, baby will probably be here. Let's jump into the sensitive period for order, which I would say is arguably one of the most challenging sensitive periods for parents. So somewhere around 6 months to a year old, your child will enter this stage, and it peaks around 18 months old. And I'm not gonna lie, from 15 months to 24 months was the hardest period we ever had with my daughter. And I have talked to so many parents who have echoed that sentiment. And I really wish I had known about this then, because it would have made my life so much easier. Like I talked about in my what to avoid when choosing books for babies and toddlers video, under 2 years old, children are predominantly in their delta brainwaves, meaning they are just sorting, absorbing, and sifting information. They have an innate need for order and predictability as a result of this because they're trying to organize it all in their little brains. Chaos and sudden changes can seriously throw them off. So these are those moments where we're like, but nothing happened. Why is my baby freaking out? What changed? You and I may not even notice it, but it could be like the smallest, most unobvious thing in the world. Something happened that threw off their sense of order and is making it hard for them to process what is going on. Some of the things that you can do during this stage are creating a flexible but fairly predictable routine. You can do this by talking to your child about what's coming next. One of the things I ask my daughter every morning is, do you want to know the plan for the day? And she always says yes. When she was in that earlier age though, one of the things I would always do is, I'm gonna pick you up now, I'm gonna take off your pants now, I'm gonna change your diaper now, and let her know, 30 seconds to a minute before I would actually do those things, so she knew what to expect. You can start doing that from birth, or you can wait until 6 months. Either way, it's a really good habit to start to get into early. As you guys engage more of a conversation, you can build on it. Kind of in that same vein, you can use things like routine cards so that they can either map out the routine themselves, or you can map it out for them and they have a visual cue about what's coming next or what to expect in the day. The other things you can do is really making sure to put your child's toys away in front of them, or do household chores in front of them. So don't save those for nap time. While they're in this sensitive period of order, show them how the household operates. Don't hide it from them. This is also going to set you up for a lot more success when you enter that second phase of the sensitive period of movement that we talked about in a previous video, where they'll eventually get into those practical life skills and exerting maximum effort and things like that. If they have been watching you do this from 6 months to a year and a half to 2 years, now that they have the physical capability to start helping, they are more likely going to be able to direct their newfound energy into productive things, like helping pick up their playroom, or helping with dinner, or helping with laundry. This is a good time too to set standards that everything has a place. You'll also notice that your child really likes toys that help them process order, so cause and effect toys. That's why the object permanence box has been a childhood favorite for like 100 years. The same thing happens each time, allowing them to process order. They'll also really like sorting games or cleanup games around this stage too. The big thing I'll say as well is be prepared for toddler tantrums, as people like to call them. What I would say is they aren't tantrums, they aren't power struggles, they aren't any of those things. They are just your child needing to make sense of a very large world around them. For instance, if your child wants their blue cup and not their green cup, you hand them the green cup, they start crying. Just try to stay calm, take a deep breath, and just observe what you're seeing. Oh, I see that you wanted your blue cup and not your green cup today. We left your blue cup outside and now it's dirty. That happens sometimes. Once it's cleaned, we'll get your blue cup. But for right now, all we have is your green cup. And just keep things matter of fact, neutral, not shaming them. If they end up throwing their cup, obviously intervene if it's a safety concern, like they're throwing it at somebody else. But if they just kind of like chuck it across the room and nobody's there, I would just leave it, hold space, let them have their feeling. Once they've calmed down from that feeling, natural consequences, we need to go clean up the cup that you threw or the mess that you threw. It's helpful to just really keep reiterating that you acknowledge that things aren't going how you want them to go. Try to avoid saying things like, it's okay, because it's clearly not okay for them in that moment. So that can feel very rejecting for them. Reflecting back what you're observing, even staying quiet next to them as they're going through it can help it, and saying, I see you, can be a really simple tool to use during those moments, and helping them kind of build those connections of where their sense of order went awry. So we left the cup outside, it's dirty, we can't use it now. So that way in the future they can start to make those connections themselves, and maybe they won't leave their cups outside and they'll take more responsibility for those items. One of the other things that you might notice during this sensitive period is all of a sudden your amazing eater becomes a picky eater. Don't stress, do what you gotta do to get through that period. Make sure to hit that subscribe and notification video though, because in one of the future videos of this series about the Montessori sensitive period for refinement of the senses, we'll talk about how to overcome that. But now's not the time at 18 months to mess with food. And it's not you and it's not your child, and we'll move out of it, I promise. In the meantime, feel free to go back, check out those past sensitive period videos, check out how we realistically Montessori at home. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to drop them in a comment below or hit me up on Instagram at The Confused Millennial. My name's Rachel. Have a good one.